There are a lot of different expressions of tequila: blanco, reposado, añejo, extra añejo, but my personal favorite is Still Strength. And Still Strength tequilas are those tequilas that are not cut with water after they come off of the still, hence the name Still Strength, as in the strength that the tequila comes out of the still at. And Still Strength tequilas are typically unaged. They're usually unadulterated. They're just what comes raw off of that still. For those of you who don't know, a lot of tequila gets cut with water so that it comes down to about 40%, to then be bottled and exported as a traditional blanco. But a lot of tequila brands are producing Still Strength tequilas where they do not cut it with water and it's just what comes off of the still. And I personally love these because you get more of that raw agave flavor that the master distiller really intended. And in this video, we're gonna go through my favorite Still Strength tequilas. Let's start off with a bottle that I recently got my hands on, the Volans Still Strength. Volans is a brand created at NOM 1579, better known as El Pandillo, and it is the sister brand of P4, Primo, Peralta, and it just shows just how incredible the brands coming out of El Pandillo is. This Still Strength is a special release by them. It's a small batch, and what makes this very different is that they fermented about 10% of the tequila with the raw agave fibers. So you get this kind of like funky vegetal flavor added to it, but I'm getting ahead of myself. This one comes in at 53% ABV, so it is a little bit hot on the alcohol side, but it does not taste like it. All right, let's give this one a sip and talk about it. So right on the nose, I get a lot of that minerality, that citrusiness that Volans is known for, but I also get a little bit of like a briny aroma, a little bit like olive, a little bit like that salt brine. Oh my God, it is so good. It is super agave forward. It is a little minerally. You get that brine in the flavor as well. You get some notes of citrus and some black pepper, but the fact that it's 53%, but it's so smooth and enjoyable to sip on, I love it. The fermenting with those fibers, at least in 10% of the whole tequila, really adds a funky element to it, which if I had any of the Blanco Volans left, I would compare, but I ran out of it yesterday. This is just one of my absolute favorite Still Strength. If you can get your hands on it, do not think twice. It is so incredibly delightful. The next Still Strength tequila that I really love is Fortaleza Still Strength. Oh, here we go again. Louis talking about Fortaleza again. What a surprise. Yeah, you guys might be sick of me talking about it, but this is one of the best examples of a Still Strength tequila out there right now. And sure, maybe it's hard to find, but if you do find it, definitely do not hesitate to buy it. This one is a little bit less hot. It actually only comes out to about 46% ABV. Out of all of the expressions of Fortaleza, minus the winter blends, this is probably my favorite bottle that they produce. And so what does it taste like? Well, let's pour some out and talk about it. So on the nose, you get that roasted agave flavor. You get that bright citrus that Fortaleza is kind of known for, as well as like an almost briny or olive aroma to it. And of course, black pepper. Oh, so good. And that black pepper really is a big differentiator between this and I think the other Fortaleza. It's a little bit more prominent in the Still Strength. You get that roasted agave flavor. The brininess is there, so it's giving it a little bit of that minerality, almost like savoriness to it. And it's just like an agave bomb right in your face. It's so enjoyable. It's really fascinating, and I am obsessed with it. I actually have a bottle that Guillermo, the guy who founded the company, signed for me as a wedding gift, and I drank it on my wedding night. And you can enjoy this photo right here. But okay, you guys are probably sick of hearing me talk about Fortaleza. Let's move on to the next brand. The next brand I want to talk to you about is Siempre, and not the regular Siempre, but their Vivo, which is a special edition that was made at NOM 1414. Siempre has a couple of other expressions, such as their Plata here, which they're fine. They're not my favorite, but this, I don't know what they did differently with this than the other ones, but this knocks their other expressions out of the park. So this one comes in at 47.5%. It was a special edition bottle, but it is outstanding. All right, let's pour some out and talk about it. So right on the nose, one of the aromas that is just unmistakable to me is that it's got this like smoky aroma to it, which is very interesting for a tequila. I also get like a flowery aroma to it, as well as some citrus and some pepper. That is outstanding. You get that incredible raw agave flavor with a really nice underlaying layer of smoke, which is almost reminiscent of like a nice minerally mezcal. but somehow they did that with this tequila, and maybe that's why I like it so much, because I love mezcal. This is outstanding. It's one of my favorite bottles that I have at my bar and restaurant, and I keep it within arm's reach to be able to share with folks whenever they come in, and I am obsessed with this. And before we get to our last brand, let's talk about an honorable mention. I have Codigo's Still Strength Blanco here. Codigo is the brand that was owned by George Strait, and it comes from NOM 1616. Yeah, I get it. It used to be a celebrity-owned brand. I believe they sold it off to someone else, but it was confirmed additive-free, and this Still Strength Blanco was probably the cream of the crop of their whole selection. If you like George Strait, or if you just happen to come across this bottle, I do think it's worth your attention. And lastly, this really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, but Kascan's Still Strength, which is their number 10. I've always been a very big proponent of Kascan's. I think that what they are doing as a relative new brand is awesome. I think they're pushing the bounds, they're really trying some fun things, and they're very aggressive in their creation of tequila. This one was produced at NOM 1614, and it comes out to about 54% ABV, which is pretty high. It's pretty high. All right, let's pour some out and talk about it. On the nose, you get a lot of that roasted agave, some good citrus. You almost get like a lime aroma to it, and a unmistakable minerality to it. I love that so much. That roasted agave flavor is so prominent. You get that nice citrus to it. You get that almost like tangy lime flavor to it as well. It's delightful. And you get that almost briny, almost savoriness that I think is kind of common in a lot of these Still Strength tequilas. Outstanding, out of this world, and just like one of the best examples of what a really nice, well-made tequila should taste like. No matter which one of these brands you go with, I think they're all incredible examples of how awesome a Still Strength tequila can be. I don't think you should be scared of the higher proof. I think it actually, when done well, it will taste even more like that agave, more like that raw tequila is supposed to taste like. And I think it's a great, awesome sipper. I personally love sipping on Still Strength tequilas more than I do aged expressions. But if you want to know more about tequila, I have this whole other video that you can check out next.